Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Amir, and I have another very exciting Goonette interview today. I am talking with Nurse Joy. How are you?
Good, doctor. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, tell us, who is Nurse Joy?
Well, I am Eugene or Tony's wife. Um, I'm a mother and a nurse.
How did you discover George?
I discovered George through Eugene, just kind of being in the background. I saw some of the prank calls from the early days, and that wasn't anything I was really into. I thought it was kind of mean spirited,
Hmm.
but fun, a little bit funny. But it wasn't until I really learned about just the horrible things that he's done. And I started watching Fieldins the first time to just out of support for my husband.
Hmm.
And I really enjoyed the stream. I didn't enjoy the things that I learned about George, but I enjoyed the camaraderie and then that's how I kind of got involved with all of that. It's just about learning how all the horrible things he did.
Yeah, is there a specific point in time you can remember that motivated you to go from a lurker to a goon?
Mm, Not specifically that I can think of. I think it was just kind of encouraged by Eugene to, if I had something I wanted to say, to go ahead and say it. And also being in the chat and the whole Goon community just was very welcoming. It's not what I would have expected from a bunch of trolls. Uh, he always says, we're goons, not trolls. So, I mean,
Right.
fair enough.
Yeah, yeah, it is a really cool community. I feel the same way. Do you feel you have any unique viewpoint on George as a medical professional?
Not overly. Some of the stuff that he says is like denying that he's got these medical problems, and then it came out that he did, and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty obvious. The edema legs, and I
Uh-huh.
said something about, I guarantee he has scabs on those legs, and he actually confirmed that too, and just a lot of those little kind of things. Other than that, not really. I mean, I sometimes I feel almost bad about the trolling of George, but then I have to remember all the horrible things. Like, he's just a terrible
Hmm.
person.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've had the same feelings for sure. What is there anything medical going on with George that you would predict or that you think already exists and we're just not talking about it yet?
With George's poor health, just in general, his weight, I'm pretty sure he's a diabetic. He denies it. I just know he is.
Yeah.
Um, we could be looking at some kidney failure. He already obviously has either kidney or heart failure, possibly both. With the edema, that edema isn't caused by nothing. If I had to put a money on it, I'd probably go with kidney, just due to the fact that I guarantee he has diabetes. I mean, there's no way he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that would be kind of huge news if that came out and was confirmed, I feel like.
I know that his skin color looks really bad, pretty yellow sometimes. I wouldn't be surprised also if he had a fatty liver, either from drinking. I don't think he's an alcoholic, but he could be, or it could just be from just general poor health. High
Hmm.
fat diet over time can cause a fatty liver. So we'll have to kind of see where those things go, but he's not long for this world, like, seriously.
Yeah, do you have any prediction on that as far as time left?
Oh, goodness sakes. I want to say at the rate that he's. So if you watch his videos from a few years back, he doesn't look that crappy until like the last 2 years.
Hmm.
I'm going to say at the last maybe 3 years.
Okay, so 2026 for George.
My gut is telling me early 2026. That's just a guesstimate.
Okay. Yeah. So for someone who is completely new to this whole thing, who is George Yaird?
George Yared is the scum of the earth. Um, he's I don't even want to use the word alleged. Maybe I have to for legal purposes. A rapist.
Hmm.
If it wasn't a violent assault, it was certainly a coerced assault. Um, he's a narcissistic. I can't even think of other terms to use for that. Wannabe public persona, old public access doofus.
Why do you think he's been trolled for so long?
It's because of his reaction to the trolling. He needed to just laugh it off or make fun of himself along with the trolls, and it never would have got to that point. But he reacts, and this ends today, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like, okay, well, you keep responding. The saying, don't feed the trolls, is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And the Ragers, we love the Ragers. So we picket them and picket them and picket them because we know it's coming.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. Well, why do you think he reacts that way? He just can't help himself. Why do you think that is?
Because we're exposing things about him that I don't know if he truly believes that these things are not true, but with that narcissism being exposed for any sort of slight, uh, what's the word I'm looking for?
No, I mean I understand what you're saying. I mean any bit of criticism he takes that as
Yes,
like an
and
attack
it's
on his character.
right, and unmasking his terrible traits.
Hmm.
As a narcissist, he can't stand that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes complete sense. So I want to say I have been thoroughly enjoying Ladies' Night. That was a brilliant idea. How do you think that hits Gigi different?
I think Ladies' Night probably bothers George almost worse than the regular Fieldins, simply due to the fact that he obviously has mommy issues.
Mm.
Um, the weird fixation on the breast milk and with his mom having abandoned the family and everything.
Yeah.
And plus he has no significant other. He has only had a couple of relationships, and I don't even really want to say those were real.
Hmm.
And so it's like he's never experienced the love of a woman, and he never will. I mean, everything we say on there is true. Uh, so I think that he really hates, and I think he also looks down on women more as a prize to be obtained versus someone to truly love.
Hmm.
And so I think that really burns him that we talk a bunch of shit about him.
Yeah, and I also hope it's on some level empowering too, because I can only imagine or I can only empathize that I feel like being a female and coming into this community or getting introduced to George is just a different experience because he does talk so sexually violent about women. I mean, what would you say as a female goon? What's the merit to being or to trolling George?
Well, honestly, I feel like it's a PSA, like a public service announcement. Like, hey, ladies, watch out for this guy. He's scum. He won't treat you well. He has no merits.
Yeah,
And also, the allegations of rape and just the general nastiness. Like, we don't like that.
yeah, yeah. 100%. Okay, Nurse Joy, we have to talk about the ruse. So, again, for new people, can you give us a little background on this?
One day, somebody in the Discord said something about, excuse me, that they were going to have a contest about who could get the best email reaction out of George. And I just sent him like two or three little things. Like, one of the things I sent to him said, Is there a closet on that van for you to come out of? Um, and for the record, I'm not homophobic at all, but I know it bothers him.
Uh-huh.
So I got to get a little gay pick in there every once in a while. But and I sent him to the lyrics to the YMCA, and I'm like, hey, you can get a shower down there, you know. And instead of coming back like he does with everybody else, like, you know, F you, blah, blah, he said something like, he appealed to my nursing and my soft nature. I can't
Mhm.
remember the exact response, but it was something like, kind of like, why do you do this? What do you see in Eugene?
Mhm.
You know, you have a respectable profession, and I thought you'd be a lot nicer or something like that. So he appealed
Mhm.
to my nursing and my soft sensibilities, and I was kind of taken aback by it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And sorry, and I do curse quite a bit.
That's totally fine.
Um, and I showed it to Eugene, and then right when I was showing it to Eugene, and I posted it in the Discord, both Katie and Eugene at the same time were like, "Wait a minute, use this," and I'm like, "Okay, I will." And so I was kind of playing the angle. I was going to attempt to do literally what Phyllis was already doing behind the scenes, and I wouldn't have made it past 2 phone calls. But I started emailing George, and we emailed back and forth for a few months. I think it was like 3 months. Not a whole long time.
Mhm.
And then it kind of just started petering out. I don't know. He tried to call me once, but it didn't. I didn't have my phone on or something. But so it never really progressed into the phone calls. And then it
Mhm.
just kind of petered out. And when it was dead, it was dead. And so we just read the emails online. But some of it was pretty interesting. Some of the things he said specifically, like, you know, I made this thing up about getting a bonus that Eugene stole for GoonCon, and George is like, I could have I could have used that money to get me back on my feet, and I'm like, what? Really?
Wow.
And he told me he was taking diuretics, and so I was trying to get him to admit that he peed his pants, which kudos to Phyllis, she got that one. But he never went that far with it with me, so I don't think he ever really trusted me. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but it was a short little ruse, but it was kind of interesting. But I hated being away from the community. At least publicly, I'd watch the chats, and I had a different name, and I'd see people asking, you know, where's Joy? Where's Nurse Joy? And so it
Yeah.
was kind of a lonely time. So when it ended, I was happy to.
Yeah, that kind of, I imagine that's a common reaction among, everyone who kind of goes deep undercover. I have to ask, what is it like talking with George?
I don't know. You never really know what he's gonna come back with. He seems like his moods are very volatile. Like
Mm.
some days he'll obviously be in a good mood and kind of laughing in his emails, and other days you can sense just how pissed off he is. Usually Fridays he would email me like, "Oh, he's on there again," you know, blah blah blah. He usually sends his emails in groups of 2,
Yeah.
which I think is the strangest. Like he finishes one and then thinks of something else he has to say. I don't know. But he also his spelling and grammar is just atrocious.
Yeah, they're hard reads. 100%.
Definitely hard reads. I mean, nobody's perfect with their typing, especially things like Discord or when we're just, you know, talking to each other in the chat. But sometimes his stuff is just incomprehensible.
Yeah. And it's consistently bad.
Oh, yes.
They're not like little mistakes here and there. So in all this talking with George, did you learn anything about him that you had not previously known?
Honestly, not really. I mean, a lot of it was stuff that I had suspected. Um, a little bit of health concerns. Overall, most of it was stuff that we had already speculated on or he had already confirmed in other posts.
Yeah. Was there anything that really surprised you in one of his responses or how he responded?
I think one of the emails he sent me, the one about it was near Christmas about Jamie, about how he feels her presence and all this stuff, and he has articles of her clothing, and I'm like,
Uh,
that's almost sweet, but also fucking creepy
yeah,
and gross.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think that was the most intense email.
I can definitely see that. Is so the ruse culminated with what Tony has called the tactical teabag. Do you want to tell the people about that?
Yes, I can't believe I forgot about that. Um, okay, so it came out on the Discord that we had George's P.O. box. And so I knew everybody was going to send him all this stuff. And I said, well, to reinforce the emails, I'm going to send him a letter. And, so I picked out some nice paper and made it all nice. And I thought about what I was going to write and everything. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And I went to Eugene and I said, hey, you should, like rub your wiener on this letter and I'll spray it with perfume and he'll sniff it. So the whole tactical tea bag was actually my idea, and that's probably like the crowning achievement of my trolling with George at this point. I mean, Eugene likes to take the credit for it, but that was actually my idea. It was a team effort. So yeah, so that was pretty exciting. And then so I was waiting for him to find it, and then after a while I'm like, "Oh, and he said he discarded the letter." No, he didn't. He even thanked me for it in the email. He's like, "Oh, thank you for the letter. That was so nice." And I know he handled it with his bare hands at least because he mentioned something that was in the letter in an email.
Yeah.
So so I threw out a bunch of stuff about Eugene that wasn't true, that he was stealing my money, which is our money. That's not my money. That's our money. That's our money as a family. I hate it when people pull that bullshit.
Yeah.
And that I'm scared of him and that, that he's so mean to me and all he does is obsess over George and all that stuff's not true. I mean, it really isn't. Like, we probably spend more time obsessing over George than is quote unquote normal, but it's kind of like a family thing that we do. Well, not really with Junior. He's just, he's in the background. Most of the time, he's not actually in the same room, even though because we have like our house is all connected, and so
Hmm.
you can hear him from one end of the house to another, and so most of the time he's not even in the same room. Um, Eugene wears headphones, so the only thing that Junior can hear is actually Eugene's voice. So he doesn't hear the whole Mel and Lewis in the videos.
Right. And I think I speak for the whole Goon community in saying Junior's great. We enjoy hearing from him.
Well, thank you. I know that some of the trolls try to get nasty with it and, talk about abuse and those kind of allegations that are they're just not true. Tony's a great dad.
He very much seems like it, and you very much seem like a great mom. And is on that topic, is there anything you publicly want to say about this CPS senselessness?
The only thing I can really think to say about it is that it's a really nasty thing to do, and that if that's what they feel like they have to do, they're wasting resources. False
Yeah.
reports are a crime. If CPS comes here, they're not going to find anything. They're going to be like, oh, he heard a cuss word? Okay, maybe back off on the cussing. Okay. I mean, we don't really have any real concerns about, especially if more than one person are filing, it's not going to reinforce what the other lolcows are trying to accomplish. It's just going to make them be like, "Oh my god, another false report." Like they're not. They have
Right.
to investigate, but they probably won't take it seriously. Like maybe we'll get to know them on a personal level. Be like, "Hey, what's up? You guys back? You want a barbecue?" You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that Henrico Police has a crank file on George, and it kind of sounds like he's trying to build one in your jurisdiction too. It's pretty pathetic.
Well, I mean, I don't think George realizes that, and I don't know how much of this is like. I actually personally know a lot of the police here locally. We're in the capital city, but it's not a giant town. Like
Mhm.
one of the nursing homes I worked at, we had police visits twice a night. They would come in and just walk around the place and then leave. So they'd come up, and it's the middle of the night, so they'd just come up and like bullshit with me at the desk. Um, Even before that, I worked in a restaurant, and I'd see the police all the time. Like I mean, I might not know their names,
Mhm.
but I'm like, hey, bud, what's up? Like I don't know. We have a little bit of a rapport. Like they know me as well as a nurse nowadays, but and so it's I don't know. It's just not. It's not really a threat. It's not a credible threat to us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
try again, guys.
Yeah. Definitely a reach. So, Nurse Joy, GoonCon 2023, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm most looking forward to meeting all the people. That's what I'm really excited about. I've never been to Virginia, but the people are the best. I don't think anyone would realize how supportive and just intelligent and actually nice the goons are. I mean, we give each other a little bit of ribbing every now and again, but nothing,
Hmm.
we're just like, it's gentle ribbing, at least they have to me, but not, it's not what you would expect out of troll communities, I guess. And I've said that a lot, but it still rings
No,
true.
yeah, yeah, that's definitely been an overarching theme from my experience as well. And is there any location you're most looking forward to seeing at GoonCon?
Of the locations that we've talked about, probably the graveyard. Not necessarily for the same reasons. I like historical places. I like nature. Excuse me. I like a lot of places in nature. Um, and so I think that's the closest thing that we'll get to that
Yeah.
while we're
Yeah,
there.
I'll be completely honest. So I went to Richmond for a weekend, and I did go to George Senior's gravesite, and it is a beautiful cemetery. I was there. It was just like a calm, sunny afternoon, and it was actually very beautiful out there. So yeah, if you're looking for like a little nature getaway, yeah, that cemetery is not a bad place.
Well, a
There's
lot of those cemeteries down there have a lot of historical significance too. So there's that.
Yeah, yeah, very true. And it seems like everyone's getting tattoos for GoonCon. Are you in on this as well?
I actually kind of am and kind of am not. I am actually getting a tattoo here in a
Oh,
couple of days, but it's not goon related.
okay,
It's gonna be a paper boat with a red balloon attached to it with a string. It's from Stephen King's It.
okay, yeah.
So that's yeah. I just want a tattoo.
Is this your first one?
Oh God, no. I
Okay.
have 3 other ones.
Do you think you'll ever get a trolling related tattoo?
Maybe, maybe. Other than George and just lightly, I'm avoiding. But George is basically the only person that I really troll because I don't want to make fun of people and talk shit about them just because they're autistic or because they're weird, because I'm autistic and weird, not diagnosed, but when you know, you know. And so, but it's the fact that he's a crappy person that makes me want to troll him.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch Cobes' videos and I laugh at him a little bit, but it's good natured. Like I like Cobes. I think he's misguided sometimes, but he has a good heart.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would never deliberately want to hurt someone just for the sake of the laughs. But George is just he's shit.
Can agree. Is there anything about him you think we don't talk about enough?
Not that I can really think of. We cover pretty much everything from his physical appearance, which is abhorrent, to his lifestyle, career, his lack of family, children. He has nothing, god damn it. And, the allegations that were made against him, he's obviously a racist, even though he likes to insist he's not. Possible questionable feelings towards children that aren't confirmed. That's I think that the potential is there. If an opportunity arose, I think he would take it.
Yeah, he's definitely had very alarming um, ideations over the years.
I honestly don't feel that he is thinking about little girls. I think he's thinking of like 12 and 13, which to me is a little girl still, but I mean,
Right.
not that it matters, but I just that's just the feeling that I'm having is he's not going to snatch a little girl off the street, you know what I mean? Like, but I
Yeah.
can see him trying to manipulate a young teenager, coercing her with alcohol and taking advantage of her. Of course, now he's getting to the point where they'll be like, "Ew, no, you're old and gross."
Yeah. Yeah, fortunately, his awful appearance is a pretty good deterrent against him being able to assault people.
Right, and I don't think he could take it by force even if he wanted to at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And don't forget the smell.
Right.
So, that's a pretty big turn off. Like that's a hard no if you're stinking.
Yeah, looking back over his life, where do you think he erred the most?
Oh my god. How much time do you have? I really don't know. I think he erred the most in deciding to put all of his eggs in one basket with the public access show. He didn't finish college. I think he banked on, to use one of his terminology, to he banked on that public access show paving the way for him to, I don't know if he wanted to move into being a actor or a disc jockey, or
Hmm.
I think he honestly believed that that was a path that was open to him. And I'm not saying that it's not for some people, but you want to have a fallback. Like you want to have like a regular career while you're working on your dreams.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I got really lucky with that I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. This is what I want to do. But I think he just went all in with it, and then he just never realized this isn't working. Maybe I need to try something else. And by the time it got to that point, mommy and daddy are gone. He wasted his dad's money. Then he's homeless. Now he's in bad health. And it's like everything just, he ran out of time.
Yeah, that was perfectly said. Wow. I have nothing else, Nurse Joy. Is there anything else you want to talk about that I didn't bring up?
There's nothing I can really think of. I do enjoy your videos a lot. I've actually been rewatching and re-listening to a lot of the Goon profiles, and the psychological stuff is just golden.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And yeah, these profiles are my favorite thing I get to do. It's so cool talking with you all about your background and your opinions on George.
Yeah, the last video you made, you were talking about Lolita, and right when I heard that come out of your mouth, I was like, "Oh no, oh no."
Yeah, I've never actually read Lolita. I know
I
about
haven't
it.
either, but I know of the kind of I know the synopsis of it. I guess might
Right.
be the word I'm
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.
And
I know the storyline and
cringe, cringe, cringe.
yeah, very much so. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing these kind of videos, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking with me today.
Oh well, thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and I don't feel like I overshared too much, so that was
No,
pretty good.
no, you did an awesome job. Thank you much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Doctor.
You're welcome, and thanks everybody for listening. I hope you all have a great day.
Thanks.